Hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to Views from My Balcony for today, which is June 11th, 2020. The reason this is not happening as a live event is because I kept having technical difficulties on my Facebook page and the screen kept going black. So I'm doing it as a video for those who would like to watch it, for those who would like to tune in and see what the messages this week are, and also the cards that I chose for this week. So let's start, as we do every week, with looking towards the heavens to see what astrological energies are affecting all of us. Now, last week we experienced a Sagittarius full moon lunar eclipse. Eclipses are portals of energy that bring things that were previously hidden to light. And with Sagittarius ruling our beliefs and those things that we believe to be true, it's getting us to question things. They are particularly asking us to look at all of our beliefs that we might have thought were true, and how our beliefs may have been challenged, questioned, or completely dispelled with so many truths being revealed at this time and coming to light. With it being an eclipse in the South Node, now whatever is in the South Node is receding from our life. It's heralding a time of letting go of those old beliefs and releasing them. And while we may be racking our brains as to find a solution as to how to proceed next, now is not the time to find those answers. The Posse of Angels wish for us to know that some of those results that we are wishing for will not come in until after the solstice solar North Node eclipse. And that's happening on June 20th, 21st. So a lot of what we are going to be asking for will not come in until the end of June. In last week's show, the Posse of Angels and I spoke about after all the trauma, after all we've been through in the last 4 months, that it's time. It's time to release what is outdated. The outdated things that we might have to surrender and release, these things might feel comfortable and familiar, but they've kept our lives on autopilot. After all, it is futile to expect things to change in our lives when we don't show the universe that we are willing to let go, release, and surrender things in order to bring change in. Overall, the Posse of Angels is saying that June's energies will help us to be quiet and still enough to receive messages from Spirit on how to regain our power and clarity. Self-care is of the utmost importance now between these two eclipses. And to help us with self-care, on June 17th, we have a lovely Mercury retrograde, and I've done so many shows before in the past about the blessings of Mercury retrograde because they do help us to slow down and to really take care of our health, take care of those things, review, re-edit, re-energize our lives. With this one being in the very soft sign of Cancer, it's getting us to really take note on because it's a Mercury retrograde, which is all about communication, it's getting us to really take a note on how we speak to ourselves, what judgments and attachments we might hold about who we are that just might be holding us down or holding us back. With the planet of communications being retrograde, it's a great time to rethink and reconsider ways that we can give ourselves credit by speaking encouraging, supportive, uplifting, and kind, compassionate words to ourselves. On June 20th, 21st, we not only have the summer solstice, but we have this new moon solar eclipse in Cancer in the North Node to denote what is coming towards us. With this eclipse falling so close to the solstice, it heralds a new day that is dawning and a time of immense rebirth. It's actually opening an amazing portal to a whole new dimension. This portal is ushering in for us, and it's ushering us forward into the new earth energies. And it's opening up this amazing, amazing portal, and it's seeing the ascension of the divine feminine rising on the planet. With the inception of the divine feminine rising, we are creating a whole new intention and chapter, and with it being in the emotional sign of Cancer, it will see us creating with kindness and support and compassion. The transformative time will bring in a huge incoming wave of energies to open our hearts and bring in more feminine energies to see us through 2020. The Posse of Angels wish for us to know that in this month of June, it'll be like all the lost pieces of ourselves will start to return, but they'll start to return in a new form as all of our life force energies will be returning to us. After the nurturing stillness of June's energies, and with the planet Venus moving forward out of retrograde on June 24th and 25th, this heralds a very important time where we can reach greater clarity, greater understanding of our relationships, especially our relationship with ourselves. And so we can only feel through our hearts and draw very different things to ourselves to the coming months. Through the witnessing of what has transpired on our beautiful planet, many have reached a turning point individually in their personal responsibility in creating their life. And when a few choose to create their lives passionately and enthusiastically, and then when they speak up authentically and honestly, others take notice and the world changes. Now the Posse of Angels, they are assuring us that major changes are on the horizon, slow and steady, and we may feel like we are being called to go even deeper into ourselves in this month of June to connect with our wisdom. Now, we spoke last week about being on a seesaw of emotions that have seen many people going from jubilant and so ecstatic that so much of the dark agenda is being revealed on the planet. But then moments later, we are feeling overwhelmed, off balance, and plunged into despair when we see the hateful division and heartless destruction that is happening. Last week, the Posse of Angels and I spoke about becoming the observer without a need to evaluate, without a need to judge, and without a need to comment, to simply be the witness in order to connect with the master, if you would, the shaman or the alchemist, which is within each and every one of us. This is needed to go from being triggered, reactive, and blaming to harnessing our energies to create and manifest from there. We, with our raised consciousness, we are no longer manipulated by a dark agenda. And more importantly, we have transcended our default programming of sabotaging ourselves away from our path of greatness and fulfillment. We've been programmed and brainwashed for so long that many do not realize that it is they and no one else that is holding them back. Studies which have been done on fleas have shown that when fleas were put in a jar and the lid was put on top of it, it was left for a duration of time. And fleas jump. But after this time, the top of the jar was removed, and lo and behold, the fleas only jumped to the height of the jar and no further, even though they were finally free to jump away because they held themselves back, because that was the previous parameters that dictated their movements. Really important information there. Think about it. The programming of the dark agenda was in order to separate and to divide people into us versus them, different political parties, separation through different religions, men versus women, and separating races through division, just to name a few areas. The dark agenda's manipulation of humanity was so thorough and so deeply ingrained in us that now that we are free from those dark manipulative energies, many, by their own choice, keep going back to that default programming, keeping themselves divided and separated with their own free will as they keep choosing. They keep choosing in their conversations to speak about division, to speak about disharmony, to speak about blame, to speak about I'm right and you're wrong, to speak about discord and conflict. Look, listen to your conversations. Look at what you're posting on social media. Just like the fleas who hold themselves down, although the top of the jar has been removed, think about whether you are still choosing to hold yourself down in a lower vibrational frequency by perpetuating conversations in which you need to be right, conversations about division and disharmony, or do you purposely choose to speak about unity, harmony, ways to come together and incorporate more love, compassion, respect, and forgiveness on the planet? In this month of June, we will all have the opportunity to look at our previous programming to see the profound effect that it has had on our choices and actions. As a result of this self-reflection, deep transformation will be occurring as we are healing and clearing many lifetimes that we have all lived through before. We have all experienced upheaval on this planet. We've all experienced revolutions, riots, and this chaos in order to bring about change, with these past events being a part of our cellular memory. And with so many people enlightening with the raising of consciousness, this is showing up as a collective grief on the planet at this time. And it's showing up to finally transmute it, and all the while, we are trying to transmute this grief as we are trying to adjust to a world that is drastically changing right before our eyes. Now, the Posse of Angels is saying that even those who knew about the dark agenda are being deeply affected by this time of heartless hate and destruction. Last week I spoke about when we find ourselves out of balance, please do go out in nature, ground yourself, find your ways to restore your joy. Find ways to laugh, ways to find not only compassion, but passion for a creativity. If you find yourself in despair, please look carefully on where you are focusing your energy and your attention. In the past, the Posse of Angels and I have spoken about taking 75 to 80% of your day and focusing that on your joy and your creativity, your compassion, your gratitude and your appreciation, your love and forgiveness. And the other 25%, you can send things around on social media. But if you have it the opposite way around, you are going to be plunged into despair, and your happiness will be stolen. The Posse of Angels is sharing with us that with the rebirth of Venus, the planet of love and divine feminine, returning to the planet, it gets out of retrograde on June 24th, 25th. It's causing our hearts to open greatly and to really make us feel things through our hearts, being so susceptible to being open to all things that are harmonizing, nurturing, nourishing, life-giving. When we see images of destruction and lack of love and kindness, it actually causes a dissonance within us and this may cause a much deeper emotional reaction to what we have felt in the past. But now, as a greater awakened collective, we are permitting these feelings to rise, to be more noticeable, to really feel the grief, in order for it then to be transformed and transmuted at this time. Because of this, an awakened collective is allowing the truth to rise and to finally be seen. This may cause some who have been silent in the past to be inspired, to take action and find their voice to express themselves. And the Posse of Angels and I want to state here very clearly that when you find your voice to express your beliefs and your opinions, you do so without wishing to change anybody's beliefs or opinions. Because if you set yourself up to do that, you are going to be drained instead of exhilarated. You're just stating your expression and your opinion to be authentic, honest, open, and transparent. Never think you're doing it to change anybody, because quite frankly, we can't, and we're not here to change anybody. The greatest change occurs when we change ourselves. The Posse of Angels is saying that whether you take action or not, the important point is to be aware of these fired up feelings within us that may be very different from how you felt in the past. Remember, those fiery Sagittarius energies are affecting all of us. With this deeply felt feeling, it will be like a spark that is inspiring many to take creative action and put their energy toward how to bring more unity and love and harmony and connectivity to what we are seeing. And the Posse of Angels have discussed many times before, it's important for each of us to really see and feel the lack of heartfelt connection in the destructive actions in order to gain information. For once we see it, we have knowledge, and knowledge is power. As a result of these raised emotions, many will be propelled to be the change that they wish to see in the world through their creative efforts that inspire, uplift, and enlighten others to do the same. We do the best by being an example to uplift, to inspire, and to enlighten others. As a result of what has happened on our beautiful planet, it has been the catalyst for souls to shift and connect with each other like never before. The Posse of Angels is saying the Posse of Angels is saying that when one looks only externally at what is happening on the surface, it may appear to be all chaos and upheaval, but they're wishing for us to see what is actually happening from their heightened perspective. It's bringing out the best in people. It's actually bringing out the best in ourselves. And they're asking each of us if we can look past the violence and be the observer and witness to what is transpiring. They are assuring us that from their heightened perspective, the camaraderie, the unlikely friendships, the solidarity, and the deep caring and outpouring of compassionate feelings that are accumulating are like a groundswell on the planet that keep increasing. And of course, it's not being shown on the mainstream media, whose only agenda is to blame, separate, and divide in order to control and manipulate us. This extraordinary time is bringing so many people together in truth, in peace, and love. Now the Posse of Angels is saying that the dark agenda's plan has actually had an opposite effect, in that it has ignited a fire of compassion and love and caring and forgiveness and deep human unity like the human race has never seen before. This is happening just like the planet of love and harmony. Venus being rebirthed in the heavens, it is we. And at this time, it's helping us to rebirth our faith and our hope, our solidarity with each other, and deepen our mission of love. Out of chaos, disorder, and upheaval will come a time of never-before-seen bonding, companionship, and connectivity between people of all races, of all cultures, of all faiths, and of all colors. Like the phoenix that must be burnt in the ashes in order to be cleansed, and this uprising of anger on the planet is the result of thousands upon thousands of years of oppression bubbling to the surface in order to be purified and transmuted into love, forgiveness, and unity. From the Posse of Angels perspective, this is not a tall order, as they are sharing with us that out of these times of upheaval, and they are adding, just like every other time of upheaval, riot, and revolution on our planet, there will come a great time of discovery on how we can all work as a collective to build better and more unified systems for everyone. A planet that supports those structures that harmonize with life. They are life-affirming. They are life-generating. They are respectful, kind, generous, and considerate. In short, systems and structures that do not see color, and they do not seek to separate and divide people, but they work for the greatest good of humanity and the betterment of the planet. Now, the Posse of Angels is reminding us that light workers, way showers, star seeds, walk-ins like myself, and those consciously working in the light, we deeply know the metaphysics of quantum physics and how everything is energy, and that is the way all things manifest. Energy within us equals the manifestation of what we will experience in our reality. This is why they're asking us if we truly believe in a world of peace, equality, non-judgment, unconditional love, and forgiveness for all. And the great majority, especially those watching this program, will say unequivocally, yes, of course, I believe in a world of peace. But the Posse of Angels are saying, please do check in to see if your words and your actions support what you think you believe. With this soft, watery, and deeply emotional sign of Cancer influencing us, the first place that the Posse of Angels wish for us to check in to see if we truly do believe in a world of respect and consideration is to see how our beliefs are driving our lives and really take note of what our energies have caused to manifest in our realities. Having taken a closer look at our own doorstep to see if our words and actions support this world of peace and of love and unity, another great barometer to check in to see if our beliefs are on the same wavelength is to see if this translates to everyone, including members of our family. Oh, and even the most spiritual of us, when asked to look at our family in this regard, would say, oh, but that's different. Is there only love, respect, consideration, non-judgment for a family member, or anyone else for that matter, who has a differing opinion to us? Or are there certain people whose behaviors and beliefs make us bristle and they trigger long-standing animosity within us? Remember, it's not what a person said. It's what's inside of you that is triggering you. The Posse of Angels wish to remind us that our reaction and whether we can be the observer and the witness without judgment, again, has nothing to do with what's happening in our external world, but everything to do with what energies we have nurtured inside of us. Two people can have the same experience of what is happening externally, and one person can choose to see it as a tragedy, and the other person, with their free will, can choose to see it as a blessing. This is because the second person has seen and taken accountability and responsibility for their lives. They know that whatever appears in their external world has been co-created and contracted between themselves and the divine to help them experience, expand, explore, and to grow. Now, the Posse of Angels don't usually believe in handing out homework, but they are saying that June's energies are supporting us to really take a good look to see if our actions and words support what we would like to experience in the world. For if peace is ever going to reign on our beautiful planet, it must begin with us. Our beliefs that are backed by our words and our actions, our unfailing devotion, focused, strong intention is setting the stage for healing, wisdom, benevolence, generosity, and deep change, leading to the golden age of peace, love, and unity. Now, the Posse of Angels wish for us to suspend all our logic and take the biggest leap of our lives, to live as if we're already living in the golden age of truth, peace, abundance, and unity. And for us to be able to see the revelations and disclosures over the last 4 months, it must be the golden age of truth. As conscious, awakened metaphysicians, we know that we are multidimensional and we have unlimited powers of manifestation. The only thing that can separate us from experiencing the reality of a golden age is our mind and our focused intent on what we choose to feed to make it grow. So, if you want to do the Posse of Angels homework, it is to imagine and visualize that you are already living in the golden age of love, peace, truth, forgiveness, compassion, harmony, no longer separated. With all that we have experienced, what is now starting to change is our energy around our beliefs and how much we truly have the power, the very power to create our realities by connecting with our ability to see the hand of God in bringing people together out of chaos. They wish to remind us that the reason that we are seeing what is happening is because there is such an increased light on the planet, and more people are awakened to hear God's reminder of love and unity like never before. The coming together of people under the umbrella of God's loving directive is bringing such monumental changes, the likes that we have not seen in our lifetime or previous lifetimes for that matter. The reason that we see these changes in our society and our world is because we are awakening to who we are as very wise old souls and to this unlimited potential within us. We will no longer let anyone, any group, any belief system, any so-called authority define us, because the veil is almost non-existent as to who we divinely are, reflections of God's light. We are now remembering how beautiful, how magnificent, and how powerful we all are. The Posse of Angels is saying, you awakened ones, you light workers, way showers, star seeds, and walk-ins, all those working consciously in the light. You are the conscience of the world, and your light-filled thoughts, words, actions, and deeds are actually projections of the new fifth dimension frequency, which are creating new dimensional timelines in order to manifest a golden age on the planet. And with many being in a reflective mood, I was not surprised when the first card that flipped out was this one. And it's a number 9, it's 27 added together, which is a number 9. It's a card of keeping on going, keeping on battling through. Flip it upside down with its message of question your beliefs. How amazing. Firstly, this card is a huge confirmation of what we spoke about. It's the perfect time to question our beliefs that we might have thought to be true and how they're challenged and questioned or completely dispelled with what has been revealed. Secondly, and no less important, they wish for us to entertain our lives being flipped upside down and completely changed with the arrival of these eclipses. This is why we must release all that is familiar and comfortable. No matter how rigid your belief experience, your soul is waiting for you to turn it around and to step into your next remarkable third mission on planet Earth. That's our first one. The second card that came out is a number 47. And this one is a master number, master 11. Celebrate the sacred gap. And on the bottom it says, give thanks for this buffer time. Now, in this time of reflection and also contemplation between these two eclipses, the important message is to be grateful for this time in between, where you find yourself exactly in this present moment and where your heart longs to be. This sacred time out is not a time of waiting, but it's giving us pause to actually embody all that we've learned about ourselves during this momentous time. Many are going through a state of alchemy in which it is unifying our thoughts, actions, our words, and our deeds, getting us to be the physical embodiment of our enlightened state. This alchemical time is readying us to take this powerful, radiant energy out and to step out and onto a brand new path. Celebrate the sacred gap that you are in now. The next card that is coming out for us is, it's a 1 card, 37, which added together is a 10, which is a 1. Stop and take in the view. Take stock of the treasures that you've earned. Beautiful card there. The next card. Well, the first thing I noticed is it's a number 1, and that's new beginnings. That's fresh starts. In this time of reflection, the Posse of Angels is suggesting that we also utilize our time to take a good look around at all of our blessings, at the treasures that we have garnered along our journey up until now. They wish for us to open to accept and receive the blessings that are the result of our diligence, our focus, our efforts, and for all our hard work. Sorry. Really take time to revel in the rewards of your journey thus far. It's a great time between the two eclipses and also during this Mercury retrograde to really take a look back and see how far we've come. The Posse of Angels is saying that this in no way makes you big-headed or superior or ego-filled. It's just filling you with the energy of delightful appreciation, which is actually giving us strength and the empowerment to journey further and experience increased blessings and treasures to come into our lives. And I usually only pull 3 cards, but they had me pull a 4th card today. And this one is also a number 1, as it's a 19. A 19. 9 plus 1 is 10. I make it 10. And then that is a 1 card. It's the North Star card with its message, flip your inner light switch. That's 2 cards. Talk about flipping. Firstly, this North Star card is speaking directly to the North Node, next huge eclipse that is coming in on the 21st of June. and it'll bringing many answers to the questions that we are currently asking. The North Star is famous for holding nearly still in our sky while the entire northern sky moves around it. That is why it's often used to ascertain direction. Our northern star is our personal mission statement. By following our North Star, we are claiming, and we are the claiming of the life that is in most resonance with our soul's purpose here on planet Earth. By flipping on our light of enlightenment within, one in which we no longer worry and allow ourselves to co-create directly with Spirit, this heavenly light will shine a radiance of confidence, joy, and enthusiasm to light a magical path, always being guided by our North Star. And this is our connection to God within. So beautiful, beautiful North Star card there. When I went to my animal spirit cards, I usually draw one, but two came out. And the first card is the Flamingo. The Flamingo Spirit, embrace the in-between time. And how apt is that? If Flamingo is asking us to be completely balanced and make peace where we are with the present moment, not wishing us to be where we were in the past or where we are going to be in the future. The very balanced bird is also reminding us that our creativity is on the rise. New opportunities will be presenting themselves, confirmation of what the Posse of Angels and I spoke about, which will be happening as a result of that new moon solar eclipse at the end of June, or June 21st. It's only by being fully present that we can observe and fully act upon the magic, the synchronicities, and the miracles of life. The next animal spirit card was the Groundhog Spirit. And it wants us to fully know that endings always lead to new beginnings. Time to let go. Let us know that something in our life is no longer serving us. Again, this is a confirmation of what the Posse of Angels and I spoke about releasing and letting go. If we are being asked to surrender something, it's a great sign that something new is coming in, and to truly get ready for something amazing to take its place. For Spirit is already sending it our way. And they're always working for us in every single second. Most of the time we lose faith because we lose faith in ourselves. They are always there for us. And when I went to my tarot cards and I chose some cards to give us some direction, the first card that came out for us was the Nine of Wands, just like the 9 that came out before. As you can see in this card, this is the card of somebody who has been through the battles. You can see that he has a bandage over his head, and this poor fellow has a cast on his leg. But he's still making his music, and he's still expressing himself creatively. Yes, many of us have felt like we have been through the battles this last 4 months in what has been imposed upon us, and our liberties imposed upon, and then with so many acts of violence on the planet. But we battle on, and this is saying, this is the keep going card. Keep going. All of this is not for naught. And you will see, and more will come to light as the 9 then becomes the 10 within time. So don't lose your faith. Keep going. Great card that comes out next is the Four of Swords. Beautiful Four of Swords cards with those white peacocks. The white is the sign of purity. We are in a stage between these two eclipses where self-care is most important. Rest, review, re-edit, really take a look at your beliefs, see what you still need to release and surrender and let go, so that you are no longer triggered, you are no longer reactive, and you can be the witness, and you can be the observer of how our world is changing and going into the golden age. Beautiful card. It's also a reminder to get out in nature and ground yourself. The next card that came out is the Death card. This is the card, as you can see in this picture, in this drawing. A woman who has crossed over is literally crossing over into spirit and going into the arms of the angels. Great transformation is occurring on the planet. Great transformation is occurring within each of us. And they are reiterating, don't try to find solutions now, but be very careful and kind with your heart, and allow yourself to grieve and allow yourself to go through this transformation that is going to be bringing in brand new beginnings for us. Speaking about brand new beginnings, we get the Fool. The Fool card is that card of the inner child, allowing ourselves to wander, to be curious, to be adventurous. They're also saying that this is heralding a new start. We have gone through a cycle, and we find ourselves now back at square one. But we're not unhappy to be back at square one, because like the dove, it's heralding a time of peace on our planet, and for us to step into those roles in which we will be playing in the new world to come. So that's a beautiful reminder there. And next card is the Ace of Swords. A new beginning, another new beginning, a new beginning, but this time we will have the mental clarity. We will have different thoughts on how we can create a new beginning for ourselves with spirit, because the eagles are showing us the courage, the bravery, and the spirit, the spiritual connection that we will be creating our lives with this time around. The Knight of Swords heralds in a time where there's lots of action. Many of us might have been very quiet before, but because of our focus, but because of what we have been asking for in the different ways we've been asking to serve, our life, and many of us, our lives will step up and we will be called to service. So lots of things will be happening. And the Knight of Swords always calls us to action. And the last card that came out was the Sun. And the Sun just came out as I said that. This is the Radiance card. It's illumination. It is also about that happy, sunny, bright, positive, optimistic, loving, compassionate, wonderful, radiant energy in each one of us, and how we can foster that and foster that on the planet. They are particularly pointing to that bluebird of happiness on her finger and those bluebirds in the sky, that it heralds in a time of true happiness on our planet. But the old must be acknowledged, thanked, blessed, to be released, and then transmuted into love and forgiveness. I hope that has been helpful for everyone, and please do share this video, as the Facebook Live for Views from My Balcony was a complete washout today, as there were just so many glitches. So I'm wishing you love, and as always, so many angel blessings. May your cup runneth over. And just as a reminder, my books are One True Home Behind the Veil of Forgetfulness, which is the story about my 5 most important past lives, and what I did between those lives when I was in our one true home of heaven, and how I contributed through my talents, my abilities, and my creativity. And then the sequel to that one is I'm an angelic walk-in, as I did have an angel walk-in experience on January 11th of 2003 when I, Angel Ariel, walked into Claire Candy's body to create heaven on earth and then help others to create heaven on earth as well. My book, Angels of Faith, about my 2 near-death experiences and how we definitely do not die. And then the last is my guided angel meditation CD, Letting Go of Concerns and Living in the Now. All of these can be purchased on my website, which is angelhealinghouse.com. And also the books can be purchased on Amazon, as well as the One True Home and I'm an Angelic Walk-In are now audiobooks as I narrate my wonderful journey as Ariel, and then when I ascended to be Angel Ariel in those novels, One True Home and I Am an Angelic Walk-In, and they can be found on audible.com. So once again, everyone, I'm wishing you so much love and angel blessings. Go out and fashion an absolutely beautiful life for yourself, and big virtual hugs. Take care, everyone. Bye.